Hello, in this assignment you will create a Google Colab project. In this project you will try out a range of Matplotlib charts and graphs. Here's how you start. You go to this website, colab.research.google.com. If you go there, this is what you'll see. You can either start a new notebook here, or you go to the top left, click File, and then create a new notebook. This might take a couple of seconds. Once it's done, you rename your project to APCSP Matplotlib. That is the module we're going to use. From here on, you follow the instructions of this YouTuber.
At this page. Before we can use Matplotlib, we have to import it. So we need to write import Matplotlib.
So we type exactly what she's typing. So we start with a hashtag import things and then import matplotlib dot
.pyplot as plt.
.pyplot as plt. And from here on, you just follow her instructions. And that should take you about 10 minutes, depending on how fast you type. So here we go.
To use Matplotlib, we have to import it. So we need to write import matplotlib.pyplot as plt. And so this is going to let us use it in the program. We're doing this %sign matplotlib inline so that you can see the plots in the notebook. Next, we need some data. So I'm going to go x equals list range 0 through 10. This is going to give us the numbers 0 through 9. And then we're going to do the negative side of that as well. So range, in this case, negative 10 to 0. Now we're going to plot x by y. So we're going to graph the x data by the y data. We're going to plot them using Matplotlib. We're just going to go plt.plot, and then we want it x by y, so we go x and then y, and then we can save it up and go ahead and run this cell. To run the cell, we just go shift enter, and voila, we have this beautiful plot x by y on this graph, and we just used Matplotlib for the first time. Now let's try it with some different data. We're gonna go a equals 0, negative 100, 25, 67, negative 323, or 323. Then we're going to create our B data set, which is going to be 0, 3, 7, 3, 9. To plot them, if you remember from before, we did plt.plot A by B. We'll save it up because we want to graph A by B, and we get this weird looking diagram. It has a little triangle here, and that is our output. That is A graphed by B, A by B. Here we have the plot with Matplotlib. So now we know about graphs. What if we wanted to try to plot this in a different way? Let's say I only want to focus on this triangle here. To do this, I'm going to set new axes. I'm going to go plt.axis. First, I'm going to put in what I want my start and end for the x-axis to be, and then I'm going to put in what I want my start and end for the y-axis to be. The triangle here starts at about negative 50. So I'm gonna write negative 50, and then it kind of ends near 80. So I'm gonna write that in too. For the y-axis, it really starts, we'll say around 3 or 2, we'll go 2, and then it ends around 8. So we'll go 2 and 8. Then we'll go plt.plot A by B. We'll save it up, we'll hit enter again, and now we're zoomed in on that triangle. Now let's say I want to add a label to this graph, and so I want the top or the title of the graph to be triangle. To do that, we can go plt.title triangle, or whatever we want the title to be. We can also give the x and y axes labels by going plt x label. We'll say it's array A because it's A by B. We're graphing A by B. The plot is A, B. And then we'll go plt Y label is going to be our array B. We'll go ahead and do plt.plot A, B. And we'll see this plotted again, but with array A down here, array B down here, triangle at the top. And we're zoomed out again because we need to set these axes down here right before we plot the graph, and now we see it zoomed in again. When I say we're plotting A by B, it means we're coordinating these two values. And so our first point is 0, 0, so that starts off here, and then we have our next point, which is negative 100, so that's gonna be negative 100 here, and then 3, so we see that there. And then we have 25 and 7, and so we go 25 here, we go up to 7. That's how it's plotted because we do A by B. And so A, we get 67, so we go to 67 over here, and then it is at height 3, so we see that at height 3, and then we have negative 323, so that's why we go all the way back here, and we see it's at that height 9. Now let's say I wanted to distort the labels of these like X ticks, and so I wanted it to say hello, kind of distorted here on the bottom. The way we can do that is with plt.xticks, and inside of this we're gonna have the ticks we want to replace, and so that's negative 40, negative 20, 0, 20, 40. And then we're gonna put what we want to replace them with. And so we have H, E, and we're spelling out hello. We can do Shift Enter, and as you can see, we have HELLO, and we have manipulated the graph in another way. We can also make this graph red by going color equals red inside of our plot call. So we'll do that, we'll hit enter, and we see the graph is red now. All right, so we know about these line graphs. What about a different type of graph? What about a different way we want to visualize this data? Well, we can use a histogram. We can go plt.hist, and we'll put the A data in this case, and we see all of this different data. And so we have 2 zeros inside of the array. We have a negative 100, a 50, and a negative 300. Here, if we go back to what is in our A array, we have a variety of values. We have 0 and 25, which are kind of close to 0. We have an outlier of negative 323. We have negative 167. If we look at this, they're not exactly on the 0 line or on the negative 300 line, but you can kind of get a sense of how many of each piece of data we have. So we have 2 that are kind of near 0, we have 1 that's kind of near 50, so the 67, and then we have 1 that's kind of near a negative 100 and 1 that's near negative 323. And so negative 100 is exactly on the dot, but most of the data is an estimate. We could also add another value here, so say we do X and Y. Now we have 2 histograms that are right next to each other, and we can compare them. So we see all of the X values are in blue and they are positive, and all of the Y values are on that negative track, and so they're shown over here. So this is a different type of distribution versus our X by Y example. All right, so those are the basics of Matplotlib. Thank you so much for watching, and happy coding.